Daniel 7 1-14. Today we will begin reading excerpts from the book of Daniel, a book offering a hope-filled response during a time when the Jews were suffering greatly under the persecution and oppression of a pagan king. Chapters 7-12, with its apocalyptic visions, comprise the second half of the book. In today's reading, Daniel described his vision of the four beasts and of the one who has been living forever. Daniel's vision of the four beasts. In the first year that Belshazzar was king of Babylonia, I had a dream and saw a vision in the night. I wrote the dream down, and this is the record of what I saw that night. Winds were blowing from all directions and lashing the surface of the ocean. Four huge beasts came up out of the ocean, each one different from the others. The first one looked like a lion, but had wings like an eagle. When I was watching, the wings were torn off. The beast was lifted up and made to stand up straight, and then a human mind was given to it. The second beast looked like a bear standing on its hind leg. It was holding 3 ribs between its teeth, and a voice said to it, "Go on, eat as much meat as you can." While I was watching, another beast appeared. It looked like a leopard, but on its back there were 4 wings, like the wings of a bird, and it had 4 heads. It had a look of authority about it. As I was watching, a 4th beast appeared. It was powerful, horrible, terrifying. With its huge iron teeth, it crushed its victim, and then it trampled on them. Unlike the other beasts, it had 10 horns. While I was staring at the horns, I saw a little horn coming up among the others. It tore out 3 of the horns that was already there. This horn had human eyes and a mouth that was boasting proudly. The vision of the one who has been living forever. While I was looking, thrones were put in place. One who had been living forever sat down on one of the thrones. His clothes were white as snow, and his hair was like pure wool. His throne, mounted on fiery wheels, was blazing with fire, and a stream of fire was pouring out from it. There were many thousands of people there to serve him, and millions of people stood before him. The court began its session, and the books were opened. While I was looking, I could still hear the little horn bragging and boasting. As I watched, the 4th beast was killed, and its body was thrown into the flames and destroyed. The other beasts had their power taken away, but they were permitted to go on living for a limited time. During this vision in the night, I saw what looked like a human being. He was approaching me, surrounded by clouds. And he went to the one who has been living forever and was presented to him. He was given authority, honor, and royal power so that the people of all nations, races, and languages would serve him. His authority would last forever, and his kingdom would never end. So each beast is described like an... Okay, so I guess the first beast was a lion with wings like an eagle, which were torn off. A human mind was given to it, and it was lifted up and made to stand up straight. Second beast looked like a bear, and it was eating. I guess it was gobbling up nations, conquering. Then it looks like another one looked like a leopard, 4 wings, and 4 heads. And then a 4th beast. The 4th beast was powerful, horrible, and terrifying. And it had 10 horns, and then out of it, then a little horn, which had human eyes and a mouth that was boasting proudly, and it tore out 3 of the horns that was already there when it came out. The one on the throne is described as like pure, like in pure white with like wool like hair, pure wool. So he sat down on the throne. His clothes were white as snow. His hair was like pure wool. And below his throne, like a fiery wheel, fire was pouring out from it. Then he judged. So what happened to each of the 4 beast empires? It was thrown into, so the 4th one was, its body was thrown into the fire, but the other 3 had their power. It was thrown into the flame and was destroyed. Then the other beasts had their power taken away, but they were permitted to go on living for a limited time. Interesting. That's Jesus. The extent of his authority is that he will rule forever. His authority would last forever and his kingdom would never end. That's Jesus. Jesus' reign, millennial kingdom. And I think his kingdom will then extend beyond that after. I think this is referring to not like the judgment of the nations, but the judgment of empires. And then after that, of individuals. So this is the judgment of the empires. And then after that, then Jesus reigned for 1,000. After Jesus reigned for 1,000 years, then Satan was released. And after Satan was released, then he will deceive the people. Some there are a portion of the people living in the millennial kingdom who will be deceived, and then they will and then finally the judgment is when Satan will be thrown into the lake of fire. And then judgment day for like the unbelievers and believers will be judged according to their deeds. So I don't know where this fits in the timeline. It seems like it would be that judgment day that it was talking about. Yeah. It's the last judgment day that it seems like it's talking about. Okay, so Holy God. Amen. That sounds like what I want to talk about.